Welcome back for another set of video tutorial. So for this set, we are going to explore the use of provider patterns that provide what we call central data store for the applications. The benefit of having central data store is that you can make variable definition or declaration in a single file. Okay, you can implement the methods that allow the application to make changes of that variable data as well. So that means we can also share data between pages without having to pass data aloud between pages like constructors. And also, another benefit is that whenever the data have changed and if a widget utilize the data from the data central store, then this result in automatic update of the UI based on the latest contents as well. So having providers facility in the application is considered to be a very convenient ways of developing the new applications. So for example, in this case, we are going to use shopping cart as the use case to demonstrate the use of provider patterns in our application. So for example, now the application lists all the products in the product catalog. And you can see that we also have the basket cart right now that doesn't have any item in there. Now, if I start to go, for example, click over here and then make this become active selections, okay, I can see the product detail along with the picture, and I can also hit this button to increase the amounts of the orders in here. Now, with one click over here, you can see that the system automatically updates the details of the basket over here. One is that it's update the total of the basket, quantity in the basket, and if you go to the basket page, it can also you can see that there are details that we have one item added in the basket. You can also change this value, and whenever you make changes over here that affect in the data central store and the application because of the provider patterns is going to notify the applications any UI or widgets that utilize data from the from the central data location will got notifications, and then they will update the UI automatically. Okay, so as you can see now that if I remove everything, it's going to delete this. The reason for this is because whenever you make changes to the data, it happens in the provider space, and whenever the provider get updated for the new data, they send out all notification to any widgets or the UIs, and the UI will try to update itself to the latest contents. So that's why using provider patterns, you don't have to worry about passing data along between pages or have to think about whenever you want to update the UI content based on the latest data. As you can see, this one allows us to have the benefit of central location of the data management. Okay, all right, so we are going to develop this application together with the following requirements. So for this video tutorial, we are going to also show you the step that you need in order to create a new application and add dependency for provider patterns. Okay, let's go ahead and do this together real quick. So based on these requirements, I'm going to take the picture so that we can have this as the prototype. So now that's going to be the product list. And whenever I go to this, that is what we call the products detail. Okay, and whenever I click add over here, it's going to add the products into the cart or the basket, and I can come back to the first page to click on this this icon to see all the details in my basket. Okay, so let me make another copy here. Alright, so based on this prototype, then we're gonna go step by step, starting with create a new project together. So go ahead, and now I have already created a new project called Lab 77, so you can go ahead and do the same thing. Now after the creation of this lab, then you're gonna need to first, okay, so let me move this along the sides, and now allow me to remove the folder test. Okay, so let me delete it right now. Okay, and the first step is I have the snippet notes over here so that you can follow this lab and make this one done faster. Alright, so based on this, the first thing that you need is in order to support provider patterns, you need to use the add the provider library here. So copy it from here, and then go to the pubspec.yaml and go to dependency sections below here, and then put it right here. So don't forget to hit pub get. So that's going to get all dependency based on this library. Now once this library is there, the next step is we are going to tell the load of our widgets that we are going to use this provider. Okay, so for this is what you need to do first before we tell the system that could you please use the provider pattern for the load widgets. It is the good idea to set up all the details of your project structure based on these requirements. So because we are going to have 3 different pages, one data model and one data store. The data store is there so that we can implement all the global variable together. Okay, that's going to be wrapped inside the store file. Now let's go ahead and go to the lib and then create 3 new packages, starting with model, then with okay, page, and the other one is going to be okay, new package. I think we need the store. Okay, all right, and go ahead and create 3 different pages file. So I'm going to name it as product list page. So that the first page. The second page is going to be product detail page. And the last one is another page that will list all the items in the basket. So let me name this as basket page. Alright, now that's gonna be used for supporting multiple pages. So we are going to have this one. So let's put the live here. So ft scaffold, and then name this one as the basket page, and put this as basket. Alright, let's do the same thing for product detail. So ft scaffold, and this is product detail page, and this is going to be product detail. Alright, now another one which is the product list page. So ft scaffold product list page, and this is going to be products with S. Alright, so that is done for our pages, and we are going to modify this later on. Now another file that we need is we have to modify the main.dash, and if I were you, I'm going to just go from scratch. So remove everything from here, and then just like we did all the time, so we start up with the function void main, and for these functions it return the line app. Okay, now we are going to just do the same thing like the previous method. So we are going to pass this with material app. Okay, and we're gonna need material.dash, not Cupertino for now. And this one is basically a widget, so it's gonna be object creations. So inside this object creation, we put parameter names home, and we are going to point to product list in this case. So product list page, and put parentheses. So this is how you add this object creation for product list page as the first parameter home for this object. What else? So this is usually what we did most of the time. Set up the load. This one is called the load widgets. Okay. Now because we are going to implement our own central data store, as I told you that we should have another file to support store. So in this case, so what we need to do is we have to wrap this load here. So allow me to do it this way. So let me put it here so that we don't have any confusion about this wrapping. So now I'm going to wrap this, okay, as the child of providers. So now over here, okay, we're gonna have to wrap this material app as the child of chain notifier provider. So go ahead and do this. So I'm gonna say, okay, wrap the material app as a child of, if you look at this, the name of this class is chain notifier provider. Okay, so that whenever there is any notification about the change of the data, then this provider notification, this provider will notify the UI and widgets to update its contents to the latest data. So this is the intention of wrapping this allow to change notifier provider. So let's do this together. So place alternate and then enter here and then wrap this with the widgets. Now the widgets that we need to name is basically from here, change notifier provider. Let me type this real quick. So change notifier provider, change notifier provider over here. All right. Now when doing this, typing this, it will automatically add this one. As you can see that in the first step, we went to the public spec.yaml and then add this dependency as the beginning over here, so that right now you can use providers code in here. Okay, so one of the class inside that library is called change notifier providers. Okay, now you can also put it this way so that you don't have any confusion about the brackets. So this is going to be the end of the child. Now on top of this, once we already wrap this into as a child of this, the next step is we also have to register where is the data store. So register the data store. I would say I call it central data store, okay, so that you can see the picture. All right, now over here to do this, to register for central data store, we register this to the parameter name create, and then it's going to be the context. All right, context. And now we register this, so we put the functions, and then we return the objects of our store. We don't have that class to support the store yet. We are going to create very soon, but for now I'm going to name my store as my store and then put this. As you can see that we don't have my store class, we have to go implement it. Okay, for now, again, this is to say that, okay, I wanted to create a material app that is going to be the child of this provider. Whenever any changes happen to data in my store, this provider will send messages to all the widgets or the UI that is the child or student of this widget to update its contents. Okay, all right. Now I'm going to just keep it like this, and I'm gonna have to first implement my store. So I have to go to this folders and then right click over here and then create a new dash file called my store, and it's going to be the class of my store that extend from. Now the class that you have to extend from will be for change notifier. All right. Okay, I don't think you have to put it there like that, just the class. Okay, EF. Okay, so that's it's going to be the empty file. So we say we will, okay, add global variable and getters as well as functions to modify the contents of variable here. So I'm going to show you that process very soon. Now let me go back to my meme.dust and import this. Okay, so that is done. So as you can see now, this is the first step, okay, to set up your applications that will have the support for provider patterns. With the provider patterns now, you have the ability to implement all of your variable inside the central file, inside central store, inside a single file called my store. And note that this class also extends the change notifier. You might wonder how the provider knows that when there is any changes. Well, we're gonna have to call the function after we have updated the data, and that notification will send to out the root child. So over here, notification will go into the root first, and the root will see anyone who used data from the central data store and is going to say, hey, man, you have to update your contents in yourself. All right. So for this video tutorial, this is done for okay, for this, I think the okay, I have to put semicolon at the end as well. All right, so I think this is done for the first video tutorial. So I have shown you the step that we can set up our application to support these patterns. I'll see you in the next video tutorial. Thank you.